What makes a currency international? Imagine you're buying a Japanese car. You probably won't be paying in Japanese yen, but in US dollars. That's because the dollar is the world's reserve currency, the one most widely accepted for international transactions. An international currency goes beyond borders. It's used by countries to trade with each other, hold reserves in their central banks, and value their own currencies against. This dominance doesn't happen overnight. It's a combination of factors, including the size and stability of the issuing country's economy, the depth and liquidity of its financial markets, and historical events that solidify its position. The US dollar's journey to becoming the world's reserve currency is a fascinating tale of economics, geopolitics, and historical events. It's a story that has shaped the world we live in today. The world before Bretton Woods was a chaotic place for currencies. The gold standard, which had provided some semblance of order in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, had collapsed under the weight of World War I. Countries resorted to protectionist policies, devaluing their currencies to make their exports cheaper. This led to currency wars, instability, and a decline in international trade. The Great Depression of the 1930s further exacerbated the situation. Global trade plummeted, unemployment soared, and countries became increasingly isolationist. It was clear that a new system was needed, one that could restore order to the international monetary system and promote economic cooperation. This need paved the way for the Bretton Woods Agreement. In 1944, as World War II raged on, delegates from 44 Allied nations gathered in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, their mission to design a new international monetary system. This system aimed to prevent a repeat of the economic turmoil that followed World War I. The Bretton Woods Agreement established a system of fixed exchange rates. Currencies were pegged to the US dollar, which was directly convertible to gold at a fixed price. This meant that the value of other currencies was indirectly tied to gold, with the dollar acting as an intermediary. The agreement also created two important institutions: the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank. The IMF would provide short-term loans to countries facing balance of payments difficulties, while the World Bank would finance reconstruction projects in war-torn countries and development projects in developing countries. Section 4. The dollar's ascent from agreement to dominance. The Bretton Woods Agreement laid the foundation for the dollar's rise to dominance. The United States emerged from World War II as the world's leading economic and military power. It held the majority of the world's gold reserves and had a stable economy. The fixed exchange rate system, with the dollar at its center, enhanced its role in trade and finance. Countries needed dollars for international transactions and managing exchange rates. The Marshall Plan fueled demand for dollars by aiding European reconstruction. Billions in aid were used to purchase American goods and services. As the global economy expanded, so did the demand for dollars. This created a cycle, solidifying the dollar as the world's reserve currency. Section 5. The dollar's impact, a double-edged sword. The dollar's dominance has had a profound impact on both the United States and the global economy. For the US, it has brought significant advantages. The US enjoys what is often called the exorbitant privilege. Because the dollar is the world's reserve currency, the US can borrow money at lower interest rates. This is because there is a high demand for dollar-denominated assets, such as US Treasury bonds. The United States can also run persistent trade deficits without experiencing the same level of economic pressure as other countries. This is because other countries are willing to hold dollars, effectively financing the US trade deficit. However, the dollar's dominance also has its downsides. It can lead to a stronger US dollar, making American exports more expensive and less competitive. This can hurt US manufacturing and employment. Section 6. The future of the dollar, challenges and uncertainties. The dollar's dominance has remained largely unchallenged for decades. However, recent developments have raised questions about its long-term prospects. The rise of emerging economies like China and India, the growing use of other currencies in international trade, and the emergence of digital currencies all pose potential challenges. China has been actively promoting the use of its currency, the renminbi. It has signed currency swap agreements with numerous countries and established renminbi clearing banks in key financial centers. While it is too early to say whether the dollar will be dethroned, its future is far from certain. The international monetary system is in a state of flux, and the coming decades will likely see a more multipolar world.